The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to be talking about using food scraps in the kitchen and in the garden, as well as saving seeds. Our guest is Michael Judd. He is an edible landscape expert, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along and allowing us to be part of your day just for a little bit. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're doing such on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2025, through a radio app, through our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the bottom of the page. Also, you can catch all the sponsors' coupon codes under that Money tab at the top of the page as well. In-studio video replay, podcast replay, thank you so much. You want to be participational? You can do that by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can communicate by voice. That's a phone call, toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
What kind of flower looks like it just came back from a fight?
Fighting flower, rose, thorns.
A black-eyed Susan. This week's
that's violent.
This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
We don't condone violence unless it's in a controlled environment, like for entertainment purposes.
There could be a flower fight, on TV in the flower world.
Oh, okay.
Flower
is that like a BBC thing, Channel 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about things that you can do with food scraps, mostly vegetable scraps, but...
Besides either throwing them in the trash or in the compost.
Yeah, or putting them directly in your garden, like a compost situation. So we have making broth, and this is something I've done myself. You can make vegetable broth, you can make bone broth with chicken bones or other bones.
Really, any kind of bone broth you can make. There is in the hunting world, there is deer bone broth. We've watched people make moose bone broth. Yeah. So if you're not in the,
I think you would, if it was really gamey, you probably wouldn't enjoy that. But you would have to,
if you're already consuming that, you're accustomed to that type of flavor anyway.
Right. So let me explain the process here.
Yeah, because this is how do we keep all the scraps together before that they don't rot, so we can maximize the usage, and how does this work?
So what a lot of people do, and this is what I've done myself, it's been a while, but I just take a zip top freezer safe bag and I put my vegetable scraps in there, like onion ends, onion peels, carrot tops, celery leaves.
Is there anything
peels.
That shouldn't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's like really potent and it's going to overtake. But if you
use, it's currently rotten.
Yeah, rotten. You don't want that. So then what you do is you simmer the scraps, and you can add, again, bones to this, or you can do bones separately, whatever you want to do. It does make really good chicken broth, which is what I've
So a big pot, a lot of water, put this stuff in there and just let it simmer down for hours or days?
Hours. You could do like a whole day. And then people will can it, or you can freeze it, whatever works for you. If you do freeze it or can it, it's best to do it in like 32 ounces because you're probably going to use it to make soup. Or if you might want to just have like a little bit that you're going to add to cooking, like stir fry or something, you could do like ice cube trays and put that in there and freeze it, and then take those out and put them in a freezer safe container.
Now, could you do this in a slow cooker, or is this really best utilized over the stove with a lot of heat if need be?
You could do it in a slow cooker. I know people have done it in their Insta cookers as well.
Okay.
You'd have to, your mileage may vary type of thing. If I were to do this in a slow cooker, I would do it on high, not low.
Uh-huh. What other things can we utilize these food scraps for or with?
A lot of people will regrow things such as lettuce, carrots, celery, and green onions.
Now, the carrots, you're not going to get a new root. You're going to just get greens, tops.
Yeah.
You cut the bottom portion off, let's say a romaine. You cut that inch bottom off, and you set it in water. You're going to get some growth out of that.
But it's kind of bitter.
It's going to be bitter in some instances, but it is going to grow.
Right.
Sweet potato, you can...
sweet potato vines.
Sweet potato vine, and the leaves, you can utilize and eat the leaves.
This is something that I think is fun, and it's a good idea.
This is not a sustainable measure
and
of
I think it's
life.
fun, like maybe if you have kids or it's the middle of winter and you want to grow something and you're like, why not try this? So it's fun. You can reuse these scraps. There's lots of different ideas on places like Pinterest, but...
Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing, yes. I don't think it's as popular as it used to be. I use it to find stuff.
The Instagram and TikTokers have taken over and pushed it back.
It's kind of nice because it will...
Social media 101 here.
It will provide you, like...
Screenshot
images. So if you go to Google something, it might not be the best when it comes to like visual stuff, and Pinterest provides that, especially like recipes or anything craft or whatever. It's kind of cool. So yeah, anyway, so then you can also get creative with culinary uses. So this is more possibly for herbs and fruits, but you can infuse oils and vinegars. We do this with strawberries and vinegar.
Yes.
We made strawberry vinegar. And then you can do that for oil. So there's like herb oils or herb butter, citrus oil, citrus vinegar, things like that, where you are taking something that tastes good and then infusing it into the oil or vinegar.
Well, it was like a family sit-down restaurant. This was 20 plus 5 years ago, and they had strawberry butter. And they homemade rolls or homemade bread, and they would cook it in the terracotta pots. And it was each, 3-4 inch pot, and each of you get a loaf of bread. And they had the strawberry butter. It was butter that was infused with strawberries.
There you go. That sounds really good. So then you can make pesto. This is especially nice if you have, say, a lot of leafy greens and you're like, I just don't know what to do with these. We've made kale pesto. You can make all types of pesto.
What is pesto?
Pesto is basically like, it's a sauce. It's a green sauce. And it's chopped up greens, typically made with basil, pine nuts, and garlic and oil. But there's so many different variations of pesto now that you can...
And you can just put this on bread.
Put on bread. You put it on pasta. People will make I've made this where...
If it's really good, you just eat it with a spoon, like whipped cream out of a tub.
Kind of intense. I made pesto, what's it called? Pesto, pizza, kind of. So, you take a piece of naan bread, which is...
Okay, what is naan bread?
It's Naan. It's a naan bread. It's a flatbread, essentially. And
like a crust. It'd be like the version of a crust on a... Yeah, okay.
And then but it's like a one person. So if you take a slice of naan, it's like a one person size pizza. So you put the pesto on, and then you put the cheese and whatever toppings you want, and then you cook it I do it in the toaster oven, really quick and easy, and it's delicious, and it's a good little lunch.
Pick me up.
Yeah, a little lunch.
Yeah, a little lunch. Sure.
It'd be kind of big for a snack. Anyway, so you can also candy citrus peels. So there would be a sweet treat, or add it to baked goods. I've never tried this, but it sounds interesting.
Okay, so you're taking the peelings of lemons or limes or oranges, and you're canning them.
No, you're candy.
Making them into candy.
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 Yes.
Okay.
So that's a process of, you cook them in sugar, and then there's a whole thing. You'd have to...
So the healthier, unhealthy type of candy.
Right. We also have croutons.
Yeah, here's something that some people get either make a lot of bread, or in some instances are given a lot of bread through certain programs, and you just can't go through that much bread. So making into croutons, and a crouton can be just a piece of bread with some seasoning on it, dried, and to whatever size that you want it to be.
Do you have to put seasoning on it?
No, you don't have to put seasoning on it.
I didn't think so.
There are some, the croutons you buy at the store, there's herb or there's ranch flavor or there's, there's multiple butter flavor. There's all different. There's dozens of different flavors of croutons.
Caesar.
Yes.
Texas toast. I think Texas toast is just like butter and garlic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's breadcrumbs too. You would do the kind of the same concept of croutons where you bake it. And
you can do this with the what are they called? The ends of the bread that most people don't like. What is it called? The butt of the bread? Is that what it is? Or
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
And
end cap.
End cap.
End cap of the bread.
I think if you say the end of the loaf, people will understand. Or and then we talked about bone broth and animal feed. And if you have chickens, you probably already have figured this out that chickens will eat pretty much anything. I don't know what chickens can't eat, so you should probably look into that. But if you have other animals that could eat food waste, you can definitely feed that to them. Cleaning solutions, I've done this with citrus peels and vinegar, make a DIY cleaning solution, and it smells good.
And it because of the citrus oils, it cleans as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Potpourri. So you take the citrus peels, simmer them, and it creates a natural air freshener.
Yeah. Well, other things in which you can do that will help in your spices or your butchering needs, farm, a homestead, or hunting, Walton's Inc. has all of that for you.
We are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created MeatJustSticks.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has a full line of their meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more.
When we return, we're going to discuss seed saving. Fall is coming. We want to save those seeds. You're tuned in to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit AzureStandard.com, that's A-Z-U-R-E Standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at AzureStandard.com. Azure Standard is A-Z-U-R-E Standard.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats, larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit year-round spray oil and Summit mosquito bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com. One Sweet Earth makes the last garden bed you'll ever need. Strong, simple, sustainable. One Sweet Earth beds slide together in minutes. No tools, no rot, no junk. Durable, non-toxic, woman-owned, made in the USA. Visit OneSweetEarth.com. Save your back. Easily and quickly remove trees and shrubs from your property with the Weed Wrench. Find it at weed-wrench.com. Made in the USA. Use coupon code WEED to save $10 off your Weed Wrench at weed-wrench.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. We're going to discuss seeds and seed saving. If you want to find out any of those coupon codes or find out more information about those companies that support the program to allow it to be heard on your radio station each week, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page. Oftentimes we save seeds, Holly, because there's a specific variety we want or we just want to save money. There's also seeds that are just better off buying new each year because of the variations and the cross-pollination concerns.
Right. So we're gonna talk about that. The first step is making a plan to save the seeds, which seems kind of maybe silly, but you
have labels.
Have a plan. Like, I know I want to save seeds from these plants specifically for sure, and if I save more seeds, that's okay too. But the second you're like, I'll just get to it when I get to it,
ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. So you want to make sure you are selecting healthy plants that are true to the variety that you want to save. So with that being said, if it's a hybrid plant, you're not going to get whatever that hybrid is.
It's still going to be a tomato, but it's not going to have the same traits of, Now, organic or heirloom, yes, those are going to be the same traits in which it's a yellow tomato, it's a brandywine.
So you might have to do some research because you may have planted something you're not sure if it's a hybrid or not. So keep that in mind. You want to make sure you're harvesting the seeds at the right time. So from the fully mature plant, fruit, whatever, but not rotten. So not past expiration, maturity. There we go. So make sure that it is at the full ripeness, but not on its way to going downhill.
Like zucchini, you want to harvest some zucchini, and you've only got one type of zucchini, one squash in the whole garden. You don't have butternut squash or pumpkin, which those can cross-pollinate. You want to leave one plant alone and let it get as big as possible. Green beans. If you want to save green bean seeds, you allow a half a row of beans to go completely past the time of harvest, let them dry in the shell, and then harvest them. Peas the same way. Cucumbers, you want to avoid cucumbers basically unless you have one variety because they will cross very, very well, very prominent. Sweet corn, same thing. It will cross-pollinate. Because pollination for sweet corn, was it 5 miles it can travel in the air, something like that?
Yeah.
And you got the GMO issues of the big ag and all that. So,
all right. So we've got that figured out. Then you want to extract the seeds and dry them. So wet seeded vegetables, this includes things that have like a pulp or a gelatinous. That's like tomatoes, not peppers necessarily, but they're in like the, what's it called? The spine, no, not the spine, the inside, whatever it's called.
The webbing.
Of the peppers, cucumbers, squash, melons. You have to get out of the pulp or out of the fruit vegetable somehow, and then you have to allow them to dry, and then tomatoes do take some fermentation process.
So, and then again, as I stated off, you're going to need to label. All tomato seeds look the same when they're on plates and you're letting them dry. And when you're drying them, don't put them on a paper plate. Put them on a ceramic plate because the paper will stick to the seed. Yeah,
and even like melons and squash can look very similar.
Well, and all brassicas look the same.
Yeah.
Well, and there's the other thing. Some of these plants, like pumpkins or zucchini or tomatoes or peppers, can be saved this year. Other plants, if you want to save seed and you know it's a true seed, broccoli, cauliflower, leeks, onions, carrots are all biennials, and there's other ones in that category where you've got to let the plant completely grow this year, die back, and then let it regrow next year, and that's when the seed pods will begin to develop. Radishes are simple, very quick plant to grow in the fall or spring in all areas, and if you allow them to go to seed, that green pod, which contains the seeds in the green form, you can harvest and eat just like you would a radish, add it to stir fries. Once you allow that pod to dry, that's going to contain 4 to 9 seeds, and if not managed, it will drop and you will have a whole mess of radish seeds coming up. Not necessarily a bad thing, but the spacing is an issue. Parsnips, second year on the parsnips. If you let that go to seed, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of little parsnips coming up all over the place. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. Spacing is an issue. Beets is a second-year crop. Swiss chard is a second-year crop. So knowing when the seeds will actually develop, that is part of the process of the planting. If you're new to seed saving or want to be simplistic on it, simply work on those seeds that you know are producing now. And tomatoes and green beans are some of the easiest ones in which you can save. Like you said, the tomatoes, there's a little fermentation process you need to go through. But peppers, watermelon, you pop them open, you let them dry, boom, you got the seeds. Pumpkins, the same thing.
Well, there you go. So the drying process is something that's important, and you want to, again, make sure they're labeled. And then when you store them, you want to use airtight containers. You can use glass jars, plastic bags, whatever you may have. You just want to make sure that it keeps the moisture away, because the moisture is not good.
Some people will keep these in the crisper of their fridge, others just a cool, dry place. You don't want these seeds to necessarily freeze. Now, here's the other thing. If you did nothing to these seeds and the tomato fell from the vine and hit the ground and splattered, it's outside all winter long, whether it's 40 degrees or negative 40 degrees. It's going to germinate next year if the conditions are correct. But for us and our seeds, we want to try to coddle them a little bit, I guess, baby them, protect them.
One thing people do now is they get those desiccant packets, those little moisture removal, the silica gel, and they put those in with their seeds. And you might think that's excessive, but if you live in a high humidity area, or you know that maybe the temperature or humidity ranges wherever you're saving your seeds, it's not a bad idea, especially if they could be compromised at some point.
Longevity.
Yeah, longevity.
Leeks, onions, Swiss chard, beets, you're looking 1 to 2 years. Green beans, you're looking 4 to 5 years. This is if conditions are perfect. Tomatoes, you can get 9 years out of them if the conditions are perfect. It is recommended many times that cucumbers and eggplants and leeks and onions and parsnips, you get new seeds every year, because the seed will diminish in viability from year to year so greatly that your crops there won't be much germination. Now, this is just a reference. There's dozens of charts online. But do your research, figure out what seeds you want to save, and or what seeds are the most expensive to buy. Okay, X plant is the most expensive to buy. Is it possible that I can save the ones that I have growing and cut out that whole having to buy new seeds for that particular variety next year? Or the limitations or the rareness of this variety, it's hard to get a hold of it. And when I do get a hold of them, it is so much exponentially higher than the others in the same category, tomato or pepper or eggplant. Can I save the seeds? Because at some point you're going to run out of the seeds in which you purchased for your current situation.
Right. So another positive to saving seeds is you are saving something that will become acclimated to your little backyard ecosystem. So the more you save it, the more it becomes kind of tailor-made to where you live. This could also be a fun way to pass on to other generations. I've been growing this type of tomatoes since blah, 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 and I got the seeds from your great-grandparents or whoever it may be, and passing that on. So that's another fun reason to save seeds, aside from saving money, saving whatever.
The heritage, the family heirloom, the memories.
Right, and it could be something where
Very few, if anybody else, has that particular variety. And that's where some of these rarity seeds come from old shadow boxes, or a family that is in the mountains that is a Native American heritage family, generations that they've only had this, and nobody knew they had it until the white man came and said, "Oh, what's this?" And they're like, "Oh, we've been growing this since 1623." And it's like something unique, and it revolutionizes the...
So it's not just for, the purpose of saving seeds. Sometimes it's to pass something on.
Well, Holly, summer is in full swing, and those Japanese beetles are flying around and wreaking havoc on our gardens.
If you're looking to successfully control beetles without damaging the environment, look no further than Beetle Gone from Phylum Bioproducts. Derived from a naturally occurring soil bacteria, Beetle Gone is the only organic solution that successfully controls beetle invaders. Just mix the powder with water and spray on your plants. Once ingested, the targeted pests will stop feeding and die. And since it's an organic BT product, it's a great choice to use on your fruits and veggies in addition to your ornamental flowers and trees.
Not only does Beetle Gone work, but what I like most about the product, that it is safe to be around use of bees, butterflies, and ladybugs. It has no water issue, toxicity. That's BeetleGone.com from Phylum Bioproducts. BeetleGone.com or PhylumBioproducts.com. Hang out with us when we return. Author and educator and edible landscape expert Michael Judd will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4jars25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com. Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Want to find out more about those coupon codes? The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com at the top of the page, radio season 9 tab. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Michael Judd is an author, designer, and educator about edible landscaping and permaculture. He has a YouTube channel and has written 2 books. Welcome to the program, Michael.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share.
Absolutely. We're excited to learn. We hear the word permaculture a lot, and many people might now understand it and the importance of it. But tell us about what permaculture means to you.
Good question. It's great to hear you and your audience are becoming more familiar with permaculture because it's a very helpful set of tools when we're looking at designing our landscapes. How can we observe some of the most successful patterns of nature and then translate that into edible landscaping and forestry and alternative technology? How do we bring all of what usually gets separated into, specialties together in one design? So when permaculture is looking at designing, it's thinking about all of the relations between all of the different parts. So that, like a good ecosystem, when it's designed well, itself largely. So it's kind of designing these naturally regenerating landscapes. And it takes a lot of the work off of us as the growers and as, the humans in this habitat. It really makes life pretty sweet.
So kind of like, we're talking orchards or hugelkultur, those type of simplistic, a lot of input out front, but it pays you back basically very little to no work on the back end.
Yes. Same with the food forest concept, working with perennials, a lot of perennial systems. There's a lot of gardening in permaculture. That's probably what actually gets the most air, but permaculture is so much more. And I, after doing annual, I did dry land farming in Spain. I did biodynamic farming. I did all these different annual intensive farming systems. And then I started catching on to, how productive perennials are for so much less work. It's like a natural cell. It's like, okay, I can get more back and I can do less work. Yes. Thank you very much. So I started working with perennials, fruits, nuts, medicinal plants. It's just, and you put them together. That's kind of what a food forest is. You're mixing plant species so they support each other with pollen, with insect habitat, with ground covers and mulch. Some plants fix nitrogen for the rest, and you're putting them together so that the system thrives without your constant input. I think we've inherited a garden system that's high energy, high input, and it's like, well, no, we can actually grow even our gardens more easily. We can design our gardens so they water themselves. We can create the design that reduces the input for us. And that's how a lot of our ancestors did things before we had all this oil. And, you start getting down to doing the work yourself, you look for the smartest way to do it.
Right, right.
That's where permaculture helps.
And often nature will take care of itself and not in a way that humans will screw it up.
I know no better teacher. I know no better guide than Mother Nature, so I follow her. I observe her. Umbrella is like permaculture is like an umbrella for me, but I do a lot of different things. And a lot of it's just based on observing and seeing how systems are working. And then you have to be creative these days. Our modern world is as we know, it's quite a place. And so we need to keep translating the design, especially what's happening between nature and humanity, as best we can and move with it, follow it, watch it, imitate it.
Yeah, definitely agree. It is important to observe nature, not just, fight against it or work against it. So your YouTube channel, remind us of the name of it and tell us about what people can find there when they visit it.
Sure. Edible Landscaping with Michael Judd. So edible landscaping's another wonderful umbrella to learn about and to be a part of. Community of understanding how we can really diversify our landscapes, our yards, our farmettes, our large farms. You can go to all scales, But what we're doing is utilizing all of the resources that we have around us. We've got, water coming in, we've got sun, we've got soil, we've got all these things that we're really not doing a whole lot with, most of us. So it's like, okay, well, let's start creating some beautiful, aesthetically attractive designs on our landscapes that also pump food and herbs and, all the wonderful things we get from being around these very biologically active, systems. Like you mentioned earlier, hugelkultur. Hugelkultur is like an old Germanic word for utilizing all the woody material on your landscape. Instead of getting rid of that, you compost it in place by covering it with soil. And you're creating a long-term growing bed that will have inbuilt compost and moisture holding capacity. So it's like, okay, boom, let's do that. Let's do an herb spiral with stones that are beautiful and, architecturally, gorgeous for your landscape. And then let's plant different types of herbs all the way up it. And that stone also creates a microclimate, extends your growing season. It creates beneficial habitat for overwintering creatures that help with the other insect ecology in your yard. So you start to stack functions with design and with, all these great edibles. And choose the edibles that do well for you, not things that are maybe more challenging. Find the easy to grow fruits and nuts.
Well, you talk about edible landscaping. How did you get into the edible landscaping? Was it by accident or was it kind of planned?
No accidents in my journey. I lived in rural Latin America for almost 20 years. And I lived with indigenous peoples and rural cultures where everyone was literally living from the growing systems around them. And I got to experience the capacity of humanity to live in these sort of extensive food forest type ways. I also saw a lot of the destruction of annual agriculture and slash and burn. And anyway, and that inspired me to see, okay, how can we work on bringing back perennial food systems, tree crops that hold the soil, that help the hydraulic water cycle, produce nutrient-dense food and create niche economic opportunities, right? So I learned by living down there, but I'm from Maryland. I grew up here. I was not a gardener as a kid. I discovered all this out in the world and within me. And I've come home and I've translated it to the temperate zone, where I live. I live near Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. I live in one of the most populous areas right now. And it's a wonderful place to, begin, inoculating with some of the best fruits and nuts that we have access to. As humans, I think one of the greatest things that we offer to the ecosystem is our ability to select genetics, to say, okay, look, there's an excellent, type of fruit or nut there. It's got a thin shell. It stores a long time. Let's select that, and then let's keep growing that and spreading that one. So when we collect these genetics in different areas around the country, around the world, they're like areas for disseminating the genetics. They'll spread for generations to come. So, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting journey there, that's for sure. So one of your books is all about edible landscaping, and it's called Edible Landscaping with a Permaculture Twist. Could you tell us about it and something
Sure.
that maybe encourage our listeners to pick up a copy?
Sure. So when I came back to living in the States, I started an edible landscape company in this very suburban area where we're at. And to do that, I had to look through the cultural lens of where people were interested. What would they want to do in their yard? And started doing all of these different installations and recording them. So my first book, Edible Landscaping with a Permaculture Twist, is like the first 3 years of me doing edible landscaping in my extended community. Everything from espalier, fruit trees, to the herb spirals, to building your own earthen oven, to creating raised beds that harvest their own water, to food forest design. And it's all how-to, 'cause it's all things that I did. So I'm short on philosophy. I'm like, how do you do this stuff? And great pictures. It's like a coffee table quality book, beautiful imagery. And then straight to how to do these projects, either individually or put them all together. And then you'll start to create, more of this permaculture-esque lifestyle, but it can just be taken one bite at a time. So I like to break things down and make them simple and digestible. So Yeah, I think it's a great book. I wrote it 12 years ago. It's sold more than 30,000 copies. It's all over the world. Yeah, it's a classic at this point.
Well, let's talk about fungi, mushrooms. What are some tips do you have that people should consider?
Yes.
And why would you encourage people to grow their own mushrooms and fungi?
Oh, because it's so easy, and they grow in the shade. You know, people say, I can't grow anything in my yard. It's full of shade. And I get this big old smile, and I'm like, no, you can grow mushrooms. And they're fruit. We call a mushroom a fruiting body. So they are fruits in the shade. Shiitake and oyster mushrooms grown on logs. Very easy. It's a perennial food. You inoculate your logs once. They can produce, anywhere from 3 to 8 years. And you're just harvesting some of the best tasting mushrooms you'll ever have. Outdoor wood grown mushrooms are probably the best you can have in the world. Wine cap mushrooms on wood chips is also really easy. And this is another chapter in my edible landscaping and the permaculture twist. How to grow shiitakes, oysters, and wine caps at home. And it's very rewarding and very exciting. It's crazy when the logs just bust out all these gorgeous mushrooms. And you're like, whoa! And then they're delicious.
Yeah, it is phenomenal and unique, and people, like you said, people don't realize how simplistic it is. Kind of like the permaculture, you just put it in the log and it'll do its own thing.
Yeah, you match the habitat,
right?
For what mushrooms like. And in my part of the world, the Mid-Atlantic, it's humid here. I mean, there's mushrooms everywhere. It's easy to do it, but you can get creative even in dry areas. You can get very creative. Set up a couple straw bales, put a shade cloth over it. Make sure it's moist all around it. You could grow it on a patio.
And whenever people journey over to your Instagram account, you do something that is kind of out of the tradition. And nowadays, you hand dig graves. I know it's a life cycle thing. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So when you work with holistic systems, when you're working with full ecology, you start naturally understanding that your body is part of going back into that ecology. And natural burial, which green burial, natural burial, interchangeable terms, is just that. You're actually making sure that your body's feeding back into the ecosystem. It's fed you. This world has fed us the whole time. So, with our last act, let's also contribute. But we've fallen away from that practice, and modern day, death and funeral care is actually polluting as its last act. So it's like, make your last act one that gives back, and natural burial helps us do that. And I've started my own natural burial in a nut orchard here at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains, where the foothills of the Appalachians here. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous climate. And we have a 65-year-old chestnut, walnut, and northern pecan orchard that we have the natural burial in. Yeah, so if you come over my Instagram, you'll see a lot there. I'm at Permaculture Ninja. It's a diversity of all the things that I'm doing. It's a pretty cool place to follow along.
And just what I have found through your Instagram, it is a very honorable and respectable way that you present the funeral service for the deceased.
Yes, it's yes. We're doing it beautifully, and it's a really wonderful thing to share, so that we can just have more conversation about it. That's the main thing we need around end of life is more conversation. Period. So it's like what picks up our interest to have that happen. It's all good. Some people don't want to talk about it, but as far as I know, Father Time is undefeated, so it's all going to happen. That's right. That's right. I'm glad you asked that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We really enjoyed having you on the program. How can people find out more about you and all of your great information?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My website is a catch-all, and it's ecologiadesign.com. You'll find everything there. I have a lot of free resources there. I also have some courses and webinars there that are easy to access. So I've been putting my knowledge out there in all these different formats, and so that it can be accessed. I also have a second book called For the Love of Pawpaws. Pawpaw is a phenomenal fruit. It's basically a custard apple of the north. It's a tropical fruit that grows in the north, and it's so amazing. I wrote a whole book about it. And we have a festival here. We have a Pawpaw Festival at our permaculture homestead every September as well. So I'd recommend checking all that out too.
Well, Michael, greatly appreciate the time you've granted for us and our listeners and the education you've shared. We thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's Your Garden Questions and Our Garden Answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra Head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra Head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order. David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA Bio-Preferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
The Shore & Shore utility cart is designed to help you with your projects around the yard and get your garden work done with ease. With a load capacity of 400 pounds, telescoping sides, the ability to use as a flat bed, and the option to pull it behind your bicycle. This cart is ideal for use around the garden, yard, lake, beach, park, and more. In short, the Shore & Shore is the most versatile cart in the market. Check us out at shoreandshore.com and get yours today.
Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at totallytomato.com. That's code 15TG25.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Want more information, again, about those companies, all of them that sponsor the program now and previous in the season. For our Season 9, you can go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, click on the Money tab and the Season 9 tab at the top of the page. It's time for Your Garden Questions and Our Garden Answers. If you want to submit your question, certainly go ahead and do that by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. And you can also give us a call toll-free coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. We got a question about planting trees. Holly?
I've had a large elm tree in my front yard that has put out great shade in the afternoon over the most of the house. Unfortunately, after the last few years of fighting mistletoe, it's been struggling to produce good shade and more limbs are dying every year. I've decided to take the tree out and have the stump grinded. I'm looking to put another shade tree in its place. I've been told in the past that you plant a new tree too soon after taking out the old one. The spot can be too hot for the new tree. The old tree's root system will still be breaking down. Is there any truth to this? If so, how long should I wait? I'm located in Central California, so we have very hot summers from mid-June to early September.
Okay. So, yes, if you take a tree out and you grind the stump, or if you just take a tree out as the tree is breaking down under the ground, it's going to compost, and compost creates heat. So, if you want to plant a new tree very quickly, you want to go 5 to 8 feet minimum from where that tree currently is. Now we're talking about black walnut trees are different because of the jugong that is implanted in the tree roots into the soil. This is just common hardwood tree here, elm tree. Or you can wait 2 years to replant in that same spot, preferably spring before the buds come out, or later in the fall. Now, if you're in like California here, I know not all California is hot and tropical, but in tropical areas, anytime you want to plant a tree, and this kind of holds true anywhere, you can do that. You just want to make sure you take you plant it right. You dig the hole right. You remove the burlap or the binding around the root system. You want to make sure that you do not add new soil to the hole. You want to fill it back in with the native soil at the same level that it was in the pot or in the root ball, and water it regularly to make sure to soften the chances of shock and to allow the plant to seed in and take root. You want to water properly. Again, what people do incorrectly when planting trees is they dig a hole, not big enough, and then they plant the tree, and then they backfill it with good potting soil and compost, and they just water it here and there, and then they mulch it up the trunk. By mulching it up the trunk, that's called volcanic mulching, and you're going to choke the tree out. By adding compost to the soil, you're preventing the plant, the tree roots, from reaching out and finding nutrients in the soil and locking itself into the native soil. It's not going to go anywhere. All its nutrients is right there. It's not going to expand its roots. And then you cover it up and you stake it down because you think the tree needs help staking. Now, I've been in a lot of woods, and Holly, you've done a lot of hiking, and never once have we seen a gnome or a wood creature staking trees down in the woods to make sure they don't flop over.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
In the woods. If you feel that you have to stake it down, lightly stake it, and then after about 6 months, remove that tighten that string or that rope or whatever you're using. You don't need to stake it at all. The tree has to be able to begin to build up the strength in the trunk to support itself. So there you go.
That's actually what Bigfoot does. He stakes
Bigfoot,
trees.
okay.
Yeah.
Which we never see because Bigfoot scurries around trail cameras and he knows that they're there. Okay. Next question before we get emails and phone calls about that.
Kohlrabi, why don't they bulb up? I'm having a very difficult time with kohlrabi. Beets seem to take forever also. I've realized shade helps the beets and radishes. Zone 5A, Wisconsin.
Okay. Kohlrabi typically takes 50 to 70 days to reach maturity. It's why it may be taking longer could be improper planting, could be the time of planting. It is a cool weather plant, and too much heat can stunt it. And inadequate sunlight or water, poor soil conditions, and pest issues can also cause the bulb to be stunted or deformed or slow to grow. Radishes take 30 days and should only be planted in the coolness of the spring or the fall, or they will bolt. Beets as well, they're a cooler plant and can be planted, and they'll take up to 80 days to grow. If they are too close, or you do not thin them out after they germinate, because they grow in cluster seeds, so each little seed you actually put in the ground has 4 to 6 plants in it, just the way nature does it. Beets have that. Swiss chard has it. Swiss chard is not damaged by that or impeded by the growth because it's just a vertical leafy plant. beets, if you don't thin out all but one out of that seed when it germinates, you're not going to get good beets. They're going to be short, stocky. They're not going to bulb out because they are going to be competing with each other. So you need to thin them out to get good beets. And if you have poor soil, clay soil, you're going to have, or dense soil, you're going to have a lack of root development, and you're not going to have very good beets.
There you go. I have harvested my garlic. What could I plant to use that space up? So
you got options.
You got options. So you got 11 weeks before the first average frost date.
Here in zone 5A, we're looking at about 11 weeks, about 70. Let's say 70 days.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Give or take.
So you can do bush beans. Those take about 40 to 60 days. Swiss chard is 55 to 70 days, and it's frost tolerant when it's established, when it's grown. And then you could wait a month also and do cool crops like lettuce, turnip, rutabaga. Could you do carrots or no? No.
You could. It's cool with a crop.
Yeah, you could do carrots too. So those are some options for you. I would, if I had a tomato plant just hanging around, I would plant that. But that's just me. So anyway, next one. My next door neighbor fogged their yard recently before a party, and it all drifted into my gardens. I really don't know how much about the chemicals. Do I need to do anything to my garden? So it depends on what they used.
Yeah.
A lot of times for mosquitoes, etc., they use permethrin, which it's organic. It's used for mosquitoes, ticks, typically.
If you and your neighbor are nice to one another, the question of going over and saying, "Hey, you recently did this. Can you tell me what you sprayed because it drifted in my yard?" Now, if your neighbors are
I think you should just ask them anyway.
Yeah.
Whether they're friendly or not, because you have a right to know. But I would just I would ask them. But a lot of times it is permethrin, and it's not going to cause a problem. It could kill pollinators. Yeah. That's the problem. So I would definitely ask and find out and see what it would be. Most of the time when they spray for bugs, it's not going to be something like 2,4-D. It's going to be something
they're wanting to clear the area for their guests.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mosquitoes most likely. So, what is wrong with my carrots? They are short, stubby, and about 1 inch long.
So it's either that you harvested them too soon, which this is my friend who was asking, and she did admit she harvested them too soon, and she's just very excited because it's her first garden, and she's not patient all the time, and she's got 3 younger kids, so they were excited. So that was the case there. Carrots take 70 to 80 days to reach maturity. She pulled them at about 55 days. The other issue a lot of times is if your soil is too dense, it's too clay-like. The carrots need nice, loose, loamy soil to grow and develop. So if your soil is not nice and loose and not compacted, that can cause the problem.
All righty. My potatoes are covered with scab, and a few of them have splits in them. Nothing cutting into them. They're just opened up and scabbed over. No issues with contaminants. Any idea what has caused this? I have scab, or I can scrub them and peel them, but I normally prefer skin on. Okay. The scab is a disease that's in your soil. It can live in your soil for a while. So if you're planting potatoes in bed A, avoid planting potatoes in bed A for 3 years. That's really going to be your safe number. And plant them in a different bed next year, or feet and feet away from that bed if you don't have like raised beds, just general area of garden. It is still edible. It is recommended to peel them. So your scab is, you have a scab, your scab is being removed. Do not eat that scab area, for that.
My pumpkins are flowering. I don't see any fruit forming yet. Would it be helpful if I pollinated them myself or help them along?
You can self-pollinate them. If you've got female flower, you got the male flowers and the female flowers, on the plant. And the female flowers will have the baby pumpkins from the stem and the flower. So you can take a paintbrush or a Q-tip and take the pollen in from the male flower and into the female flower if you do not feel you have enough pollinators in the area.
If it's the first flowering, it's not going to hurt to tap the flowers either if you're not sure. So you could just go around and tap from flower to flower and do that for a while, and it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to cause a problem. So, yeah, so that's a good idea.
Well, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Missed any portion of the program or would like to revisit it, you can certainly do that by going to your favorite search engine and typing in the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. You can also go to our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and click on the season 1 through 9 tabs and catch all episodes of this program. Tune into the program next week where we'll be discussing what you can use all that zucchini that either you're currently or will be getting out of your garden. We've got a bunch of ideals, dishes, recipes to utilize those zucchini for, as well as canning meats and fish. Our guest is cookbook author Holly Capelli, YouTube channel, and we'll answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joey Baird, and we will see you in the garden.